Hey everyone, my name's Gabrielle and I'm a love and relationship coach. So today we're going to explore a pitfall that many women fall into, and I fell into this myself, and that is being stuck in the dynamic of chasing love. So what does this look and feel like? It feels like you constantly putting all your effort and energy into the relationship and not receiving that same energy back. It feels like you having to force the relationship. It looks like you having to convince someone and use manipulation tactics to get them to like you and to stick around. I myself found myself in this cycle, in this dynamic for years, throughout all my teens and throughout all my 20s. And honestly, it left me feeling so anxious, so exhausted, and it left me questioning what's wrong with me. Why don't guys want to spend time with me? Why aren't men that bothered about me? Why does this always feel like a battle? When I reflect back now on my behaviour, I was unconsciously overacting to retain their attention. If you're not careful, you can end up being trapped in this dynamic forever. I myself managed to break out of this dynamic, out of this trap, and I'm so grateful that I broke free. So in today's video, we're going to clearly explore the dynamic so that you can identify if you're trapped in this dynamic now. We're going to discuss the major consequences that you cannot avoid if you're in this dynamic right now, and what you can do to break this cycle. So, why you cannot convince someone to love or choose you. Real love, it can't be negotiated, it can't be manipulated, and it cannot be earned through persuasion. Why? Because real love cannot be forced. A healthy relationship involves two sovereign people consciously choosing one another. If you feel like you're having to convince someone to stay, to text back, to spend time with you, to even care more about you, you are settling, and you are settling for so much less than you deserve. So what are the consequences of trying to convince someone to love us and then settling for that dynamic when they eventually cave? The consequences are, even if you win temporarily, it will not last. And deep down in your gut, you know it won't last. And this creates a breeding ground within you for feeling insecure. And that cycle of constantly trying to convince them to stay, that never ever ends, because deep down there is a deep rooted belief that you know that they're not fully invested in you. You know that they've always got one foot out of the door. So a core truth here, if someone does not fully choose you, the relationship cannot work. I'd invite you to find a quiet space where you're not going to be disturbed. Close down your eyes, put your hand on your heart, and just ask yourself a few simple questions. Observe how your body reacts, the sensations in your body, and if any words or images come up. I want you to ask yourself, is this what you deserve? Second question, is this really what you want? I want you to bring radical honesty here. The only person that's hearing these answers in this conversation is yourself. If you want to see positive change in your life, you need to be radically honest with yourself. Question number 3, how does it feel to be in this dynamic of having to convince someone, of them always having one foot out of the door? How does it feel to be in that dynamic long term? And then the final question, question number 4, what is the vision? What is the dream that you envision with a future partner? What does that future relationship look like? And does your present reality of convincing someone to stay, does that align with that future vision? You see, ladies, when we settle for this dynamic, you are accepting one-sided love. Like I said, the concept of someone having one foot in, one foot out, the inconsistency, whether that's inconsistency with them replying to you, with them wanting to spend time with you, with how they treat you. Within this dynamic, there's always an emotional unavailability. You're craving to be close to your partner and they're holding you at a distance. You're craving love, you're craving commitment, but this person in front of you is not able to give you that. They are wired up differently to you, and no matter how much you try and force it, they cannot give you that consistency and security that you need. And if you settle for this dynamic, you're settling for a lack of commitment even after a long time. People end up stuck in this dynamic, and this dynamic can actually go on for a few years, but you'll find you're 1 or 2 years down the road and you still don't feel like this person is fully committed to you. It still feels like they're holding you at a distance. And that can be incredibly painful. It can be really frustrating, and you end up consumed by that dynamic and that relationship. And this really isn't healthy. So as women, why would we chase this dynamic? It sounds crazy. Why would we put ourselves through this? And it simply comes down to this. It's because we've confused connection, aka chemistry, with commitment. So I really want you to pay attention to this. A strong emotional and physical connection does not mean in any way that person has the capability to commit to you for the long term. It does not equate to relationship readiness. As women, we often feel an intense chemistry. You get with someone, it feels super passionate. You may be having deep conversations at the start. It's going from 0 to 100 and it's, oh my God, I finally found the one, this is it. But, and this is where women get confused, because these feelings of passion and love completely override our common sense logic and our connection to our intuition. Just because you're having deep conversations with someone, just because you feel an intensity and a passion with someone, that does not mean that that person is emotionally mature. That does not mean that that person has the capacity for a partnership and the willingness to build a future together with you. And this is the trap, right? Even though these people want to hold you at a distance, initially at the start, they want to get you hooked on them, and initially the closeness is novel to them, but then it gets too much and they pull away. So initially, when you first meet them, those first few weeks, they can offer intimacy in the moment, and this creates the illusion of this strong bond between you both, but they cannot keep it up over the long term. So essentially, they're tricking you here. You get hooked, and your senses of rationale are overridden by that intense connection at the start. But just because that person can offer you a moment of emotional connection, that does not mean that they're able to handle conflict, that they can compromise after arguments, that they have any capacity to discuss your needs and the future you're going to build together, and that they can consistently make you feel safe and secure even when you're apart. So this is when the cycle starts. You meet up with them, you have that moment of intensity, you're having deep conversation, but then you go your separate ways. You go back to your separate apartments or houses, and then they go quiet on you, they're distant. When you're apart, they're not responsive. They're not creating that energy of making you feel secure. It's the closeness and distancing. And here, it's the anxious woman that will stay and tolerate this behaviour. One of the reasons is that usually her self-love isn't where it needs to be. So she might have the underlying beliefs that there's not many great men out there. This is my one and only opportunity. I can't mess this up. So even when she sees the red flags, even when she's been hurt in this dynamic of closeness and withdrawal, she will still stay. Wanting to be close to your partner is a completely normal human instinct. It's actually areas of the brain that are wired up to seek closeness to your partner, because back in the day, we sought closeness to those closest to us as a way to survive. So when he pulls away, this is why it hurts so much when he withdraws, because it's going against your survival instinct. And when this happens, you'll find you will do anything to get close to them again. And this is when women are deemed as crazy, because we start acting irrationally, but it's because your survival instinct has been activated. And the thing is, as anxiously attached women, this is all we've ever known. From childhood, potentially, our relationships have had an underlying feeling of anxiety, that people are holding us at a distance. So to us, that's normal. But what I would say here, this intensity, there's always an underlying feeling of anxiety. And anxiety in a relationship with someone is a sign that something is not right. Your nervous system here is reacting to inconsistency, and it's going into fight or flight. Our partner's pulling away, our survival instinct is being activated, and we begin to panic. When you're with someone, pay most attention to how that person makes you feel. Not the words that they say, pay most attention to the actions that they take, how they treat you, and how it makes you feel. Connect with your body. Like we did at the start of this video, shut down your eyes and start to notice the sensations in your body. If you're feeling confused, if you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling uneasy, that is a sign that there's something really not right in the relationship. And you might be thinking, okay, how do I know for certain that I've fallen into this anxious-avoidant trap? I've become a victim of this dance of closeness and withdrawal between the anxious and the avoidant. The ultimate test to see if you've fallen into the anxious and avoidant trap is to see how the person you're dating or you're in a relationship with responds to vulnerability. So all you need to do here is simply go to them, lay all your cards on the table and say, this is how I'm feeling and can we talk about it? A person who's secure, who's available for love, who sees your well-being as their responsibility, they will have no qualms with sitting down and discussing that with you, because they're fully invested in you and they have no issues with being close, coming to a resolution. They want to reassure you, they want to repair, and they want to build for the future. The wrong partner, an avoidant man, an emotionally unavailable man, he will see this proposition as a threat. Because what's actually crazy in this is that a resolution, in his mind, the way he's wired, that resolution will bring you even closer. And he wants to avoid closeness at all costs. So when it comes to you asking to sit down, let's discuss this, let's pave a way forward. No. He will not want that. And this is when the silent treatment comes into play. So he'll go completely silent on you. He'll punish you. Maybe if you're living with him, he'll give you the silent treatment and he'll also withdraw affection. And this is him implementing distancing tactics. His distancing strategies will go into full force here. Another thing that he'll do is that he'll minimize your needs. So this is when you'll hear him say, God, you're just too sensitive, you're just too needy, you're expecting too much. If he reacts like this, he essentially does not care about your well-being. So if at this point, your partner, when he can see that you're sad, he's not even showing you kindness, but also he's not even got the basic communication skills to sit down with you and have an adult conversation, those are two huge red flags and two huge reasons that you should cut off this relationship. But these two things, communication and showing kindness, at this stage, I'm guessing I'm speaking to people who are in their late 20s, 30s, 40s. If a man has not got those basics at this age, it's a no-go. I wouldn't even bother wasting your time. Now, if you're an anxiously attached woman, like I said, your self-worth isn't always where it needs to be, and that's okay because that can be worked on. But when we've got low self-worth, when people start treating us badly, we can make excuses for them, and we can also, when the situation, when the dynamic isn't where it needs to be, we can start making excuses for the situation and living in a delusion and not seeing the reality of the situation. So here, do not get confused between fighting for a relationship and fighting for love. If you're trying to convince someone to like you, to respond to your messages, to spend time with you, to notice you and care for you more, that is not fighting for the relationship. Fighting for a relationship is two people who are fully invested, sitting down together, talking calmly, compromising and overcoming an obstacle and taking steps forward to build a future together and overcome whatever's in their way. So what are the consequences of constantly having to fight for love? Consequences can be absolutely huge. When we're in this dynamic, it absolutely consumes every part of our being. We can't think of nothing else. We're constantly thinking of strategies to try and get close to our partner, constantly thinking how we can change and fix our partner. Or if he could only go to therapy, or with time, if I show him all the love I can, he'll change. Constantly being in this energy where it's forced is much more damaging long term than going through heartbreak. When we keep ourselves trapped in this dynamic, our mental health suffers, so we start to become really anxious. We've already got low self-worth. Well, guess what? That's going to plummet even more. We're feeling confused. We're feeling like we're this crazy woman. We're completely focusing our attention on our partner and not ourselves. We're actually completely neglecting ourselves. There's a part of us inside that is crying out to be heard. There's part of us that has needs, simple needs like being close to our partner, for them to make us feel safe, to spend time with them, to be able to sit down and have a conversation and compromise and overcome obstacles together, to discuss the future together. When you stay in this dynamic, those basic needs, you suppress them, you discard them, and that has huge consequences, not just for your mental health, because it makes you feel completely disconnected and misaligned. It has consequences for your physical health as well. So if you stay in this dynamic, ladies will often find they end up experiencing symptoms, so they can't sleep well, their eye starts twitching, they've got stomach problems, they've got migraines, they're coming out in rashes on their body. Again, listen to the body. So the body's alert system at the start is the lingering feelings of anxiety. If you don't listen to those feelings and sensations, that part of you that is crying out for you to notice it and is crying out for those basic needs to be met, that part of you will start to ravage your body in an attempt to get your attention. It will start to ravage your physical health. You will see a decline in your physical health in order for that part of you to be finally heard. So how do we break this cycle? Be the partner that you want to find. When you're approaching dating, don't fall into the mindset of focusing on them and what they can give you. Don't fall into the dynamic of desperately needing someone to like you and choose you. This is where you can focus on yourself, you can take back your power and become the person that you want to attract. So things that you can start working on, that you can become, that you want in a healthy, secure man. I want you to ask yourself, and I want you to start working on this today, are you emotionally mature? How strong are your communication skills? When it comes to your insecurities, is the work that can be done there in order for you to become more secure and more confident. So here, I really want you to think about what you are giving as a partner, not just what you expect to receive. So take some time to consider, what does a healthy relationship actually look like? Because often we say that we want a healthy relationship, but if someone asked us, okay, paint a picture for me what a healthy relationship looks like, we might actually become a bit stumped. So a healthy relationship, it should feel like a friendship. It should feel like you're a team, you're both on the same side. It should have great communication, both partners being able to communicate at a high level. There needs to be shared values, a shared vision for what you want your future to look like, and a high level of emotional maturity. And this includes being self-aware and also realizing your responsibility for the well-being of your partner and how your actions and behaviors impact your partner. And also, a healthy relationship, it needs to have more positive moments than negative. I'd say 90 to 95% of the time needs to be positive. It needs to be making you feel good, safe and secure. And let's be realistic here, even in healthy relationships, sometimes we can act out, sometimes we can have a disagreement and argue. So allow 5% of the time for that stuff. That is completely normal. In fact, I would say if people say they never have an argument, that to me would be suspicious, because for me that would be a sign that one of them or both of them are suppressing how they truly feel. So ladies, I hope you enjoyed this video. If it helped you, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. I hope this video has really painted a strong picture for you to identify if you have fallen into this dynamic of chasing someone and convincing them to love you. And I hope you can see that you deserve so much more than this, and being in this dynamic will have huge consequences for your well-being. When we move into becoming a secure woman, we will not tolerate any bullshit like this. If a relationship threatens our mental and physical well-being, that is a no-no. As a secure woman, we would never tolerate this. That is a sign that a relationship has zero future. And if you think you're in this dynamic now, yes, letting go in the short term can hurt, but you are saving yourself so much heartbreak long term, so much mental and physical deterioration long term, and you're saving so much of your precious time. Believe me when I say this, and this is a belief that you need to acclimatize yourself to strongly believing. There is someone out there for you right now, a secure man that is ready to fulfill your needs in abundance. He is ready to shower you in all the love that you want and deserve. He's out there right now, and you are wasting your time in a relationship that is not going to go nowhere and that is going to make you truly unhappy. Okay, thanks for listening everyone, and I'll see you next time.